In an ever-evolving digital landscape, for your business to thrive, you must adapt or die. Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the podcast helping you harness the power of AI and marketing tools to revitalize and grow your business. And now here's your host, marketing expert and author of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI, Emanuel Rose.
Welcome to this episode of Marketing in the Age of AI. Really excited today. We're going to have a chance to dig into the idea of agents and placing agents and autonomous agents and agentification, and talk with somebody who has deployed hundreds of these. And on top of having deployed hundreds of them, he wrote a book about it. So I'm really excited to have Kence Anderson here. For 7 years, he's focused on designing, building, and deploying intelligent autonomous agents for manufacturing and logistics. Kence has designed over 200 agents. He authored Designing Autonomous AI, and is now building a platform to orchestrate agents that make million-dollar operational decisions. Kence, thank you so much for taking some time away from the X's and O's to come in here and talk to a human.
Oh, thanks a lot. Glad to be here.
All right. Well, I've been digging into your book, and I got to take it a couple pages at a time so my brain doesn't melt. But the first thing I wanted to ask you about is how was your father the maestro, and how did what he did influence you in what you're doing now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So my father was epic. He was actually born in 1916, and he was a teacher. He taught second grade all the way through college. He was a fantastic musician, which is why I call him maestro. But he was a master teacher, and I got a lot of teaching sensibilities from him, and that really informed my approach to AI a lot, because I really thought, throughout my startup career, I've been working in Silicon Valley-based startups for about 20 years, and machine learning. And I actually worked for the first 5 startups of my career in ad tech, right? So that was one of the first enterprise applications of machine learning. And I just started thinking to myself, well, if machines can learn, shouldn't you teach them something? I mean, humans can learn, and we teach them something. And that came from my dad's teaching sensibilities.
That's cool. I think that's a cool bridge from the early 1900s into AI. So that's pretty awesome. Well, so you've been involved with AI and agents for a long time, and so in some respects, I'm coming to the party late in terms of that. And I guess, can you give me a summary about how somebody like me, who's a marketer as a profession, should start thinking about how to interact and program or teach an agent for something that I needed to do?
Yeah, that's fair. So the first place I'd start is where where most of us started with generative AI as, the large language model, and, really understanding what is ChatGPT doing? And ChatGPT so large language models are based on a technology that essentially determines what symbol or character belongs next to another symbol.
Right.
Now, it went much farther than many folks thought, but it essentially reads the whole internet, and then it says, for example, these letters belong next to each other. So in the English language, H is much more likely to appear between T and E,
right,
than it is between W and Z. In some other language it might, but in the English language, and so by building those connections and those relationships, it actually learns what to say in a way that makes sense in a lot of contexts. But you got to understand that it's doing that statistically based on what it's reading. It's not like a human mind. It's doing it statistically based on what it's read. So it didn't just read the Wall Street Journal. It also read Reddit, and it read a lot of other stuff. And so that's why, it can say things that that sometimes you go, oh, wow, like it almost seems like a human, it seems biased. Well, because it's biased based on what it read. Okay.
Right.
Now, from a marketing perspective, that's powerful because marketing in a lot of ways is based on symbols. So images are really symbols if you get down to it, and text is. So things like analyzing marketing copy, writing ad copy, that's something that a large language model can do really, really well. Now, I'm not talking about replacing, entire swaths of human beings. And in fact, I've been doing this for the better part of a decade, and I thought I was going to hear a lot of, as I did this in manufacturing logistics, I was going to hear a lot of, oh, well, can you build an autonomous agent that will help me do this person's job? Right. I hardly got any of that. What I got was, we need more people to be able to do this job. And I think an autonomous agent can sit next to them, kind of like the way we use Waze or Google Maps, and help them do their job better. And I think that's true for marketing jobs and advertising jobs too.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And that for the work that I'm doing, building the custom GPTs as a doppelganger for myself to generate ideas or to edit things or to build a custom GPT for a client, right? Like those with the brand book and target markets and ICPs and customer journey and all that stuff like that. I still have to do the thinking around generating all that content in order to teach the GPT how I wanted to generate that next character for me.
100%. So let's talk about teaching for a second, because one way that you're doing the teaching is by constructing and reconstructing and giving more prompts. Like, no, don't do this, do this. And that's part of teaching. That's what coaches do in basketball or chess, or instructors in music. Like, wait, hold on, and you tweak this, tweak that. So that's one way that we're teaching. Another way that I've learned to teach is, and for most tasks that aren't inherently like language based, like the whole task is language, like writing ad copy, the whole task is language.
Yeah.
We actually learn by practicing. So humans become autonomous in most of the things we do by practicing.
Love it. Yes.
And so most of my experience with agents has been having agents practice doing high value, these kind of high value skills. And so you can introduce practice even in what our platform, my company at Mesa does, is we introduce this concept of practice to the agents. So even if the agents were writing copy, then there's this feedback, because practice involves feedback that says that ad copy was good or bad because people clicked on it or they didn't, or they liked it or they didn't, they filled out a survey or they did, and they liked it or they didn't, kind of thing. And then once you introduce feedback, then a new level of expertise and competence can develop.
I think that's genius. And I guess so. Then how do we build that into our workflow when creating an agent? I guess that's the first question.
Yes, and so part of what I'm talking about here is, I don't want to use the word experimental, but there aren't a lot of tools out there that allow you to incorporate this idea of practice. And that's why I built my company at Mesa. So I don't mean to, I don't mean to, disappoint, but this idea of practice, in some ways, in the current agent world, which is focused mostly on LLMs, is a little bit hard to come by.
Yeah.
So what a lot of folks are grappling with in your industry is, how do I introduce my subject matter expertise beyond the prompt? Because the prompt is a powerful way to introduce expertise, but language is ambiguous.
Yep.
And so if my instructions are exclusively language based to an agent or a team of agents, then there's a lot of ambiguity there. And if we can So how do you introduce, so I'll speak conceptually as opposed to go use this tool or go use that tool.
Yeah.
The first way you introduce practice is by introducing goals. So you introduce feedback
Nice.
and then you introduce goals. So
Nice.
in marketing, the goals are engagement based. The bottom of the funnel engagement goal is conversion. The top of the funnel engagement goal are, they're like engagement metrics. Did someone click? Did someone view? Did someone? And then all the way through that funnel, if you can attach feedback through your digital marketing systems that you already have, your
Sure.
omnichannel digital marketing systems have those feedback at the various levels. So you have to choose your goal based on what engagement you're trying to drive, and then you implement the feedback loops in the algorithms that allow human-like practice. The most common one is called reinforcement learning. It's actually the same technique that DeepMind used to have an agent practice the game of Go and beat the best Go player in the world in 2016, Lisa Stoll. But they're practicing, it approximates practice. This isn't humans practicing, but it is getting feedback and maximizing for future rewards. So it actually changes what it does to pursue that digital cookie or that reward, which in the case of marketing is going to be one of those conversion metrics, one of those engagement metrics.
So essentially, you're programming A/B testing at scale, is what I'm hearing. Is that accurate?
It's learning. It's learning A/B testing at scale. So that the algorithm doesn't just test; it pursues in AI speak we call it a policy, but it pursues a strategy, a course of action that will, at different times, do different things in a way that leads to the most, whatever your KPI is, clicks, likes, conversions.
Another question I have is how complicated can you make that first prompt into an agent, or should you titrate your desire for that agent? So versus
that is a really interesting
I want you to go
question.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
No, and I think it is a broader question that we can answer by looking at humans. So imagine a soccer team where everyone had the same skill. So imagine one soccer team where there's no goalie. No one knows how to tend the goalie because everyone knows the basic soccer skills. Then you have another team where everyone has the same skills. Everyone's a goalie or everyone's a striker.
Oh, yeah.
In American football, everyone's a wide receiver or everyone's a quarterback. None of those things are going to work. What's going to work is if you specialize based on roles. And you specialize based on jobs. And that's what it works for humans and it works for agents because complex tasks decompose into skills. It's like the org chart in your business. You got the marketing person and you got the CFO and all this kind of thing. And so the more you specialize, even at a prompt level, if you're using prompt style teaching, the more you specialize to the role, to the function, to what you're trying to do, the better output you're going to get from the agents.
Interesting. Yeah, I love it. That seems so obvious when you describe it. So, for instance, if I have agents that I'm building to go and get guests for my 3 podcasts, I would have one agent that would be in charge of the scrape, one agent that would be in charge of the enrich, one agent that would be in charge of the email newsletter or email request, and then one agent that would then send it out for each of those stratified.
100%. And the reason why that works so well is because those tasks are so different.
Yes.
And so trying to write a prompt or trying to write any teaching plan that gets you to learn how to do all 4 of those things equally well is very, very difficult.
Interesting. Yeah. So that I gotta go fix my agent.
Well, it's what great coaches do, right?
Yeah.
So great coaches and great teachers are constantly decomposing things. They're constantly going, okay, hold on. Now I'm converting to the basketball analogy. Hold on. Today we're going to work on passing. Today we're going to work on jump shots. Today we're going to work on layups. We're going to work on this particular part of the jump shot form. And then you give them parameters to practice within or parameters to operate within, and it helps the teacher also organize how well, because there's also this element of explainability and visibility in performance, right?
Yeah.
So if you had your master prompt, you're like, well, it's kind of difficult for you to identify for those 4 tasks that you did, well, how well it did do. But if you broke it down, it makes it obvious. Oh, it actually worked really well at this, but
I
really
love it.
poorly at this.
Yeah. And if you have one agent that you're like, that is the goalkeeper, you know how to coach that agent
100%.
versus the strikers. Yeah. Wow. It's geniusly simple, Kent.
Thanks.
I love it. Well, with a Mesa, or let's see, who's your ICP for a Mesa? Who are you looking to work with?
So it's large enterprises. So
Yeah.
we mostly have Fortune 500 customers right now, and our hypothesis is that there's tasks in the enterprise that are very mundane, monotonous, repetitive. That's not what we do. There's tasks in the enterprise that takes 10 years to learn how to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like writing ad copy is an example of this. Writing mark takes 10 years for a human to practice and get feedback and learn how to do it right in different situations. Like, how do you write ad copy for consumer products, for B2B products, for you get all the different permutations, right? For finance vertical, for this and that. And those things require practice and orchestration. So we're a practice and orchestration platform for high value functions within the enterprise. I've done agents that do everything from operate equipment in a factory to manage, supply chain, scheduling and routing, to financial and stock trading, to fraud prevention. So there's a lot of even what we consider back office tasks that are like this, that are very nuanced skills that require a lot of practice.
Love it. And so for somebody like me who's not, who's learning and iterating, and how do I find a platform to start practicing agents on?
Right, to start playing with. So first, I would say, even before the platform, is find sources of education that explain things to you in a way that you can digest.
Yeah.
You're not going to go get a math degree. You're not going to go get a PhD in AI. I don't have a PhD in AI, even though
No, thank you.
That stuff, right? And so everyone needs to find their influencer is not a great term, but they're like sources of information where they go, oh, this person, this publication, this feed explains AI and agentic technologies in ways that I can consume. Okay, right. That's step number 1, because you're not going to go get a PhD in AI. Step number 2 is figuring out, okay, what are the capabilities that I'm looking for? So you actually gave a great example earlier where you said, well, I focus on marketing exclusively. Great. So what kind of tools in my stack do I need to do this? Now, what I teach in my courses and I teach in my book is you're not going to be able to do that until you decompose your process into these specific skills or these specific roles. Yep. And you gave another great example. You said, here's the 4. I'm sure there's like 20 more, right, in your total process. But if you break it down and map those out, then you're going to be able to find the right tools for the job for each of those. So for designing autonomous AI, I always say decompose the tasks into skills, figure out how the skills fit together, because some of the skills in your workflow require a sequence, kind of like takeoff and landing for a plane.
Sure. Yep.
It always happens in that sequence, I promise. And some of them are in a hierarchy, like a football or a chess strategy. You could do any one of these things. It depends on the situation. So you've got to figure out how the skills in your system work together, and then
sequential or parallel, right? Sequential.
Yes, exactly. And then the very last step is now you find the right tool for the job, because this part of your workflow might require a completely different tool than this one over here.
Right. Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Well, tell me, I know we're running short of time, but I just want to hear about one project that you're really excited about that you're working on right now.
Oh, that's great. We have a project that, let's see, I'm trying to decide which project might be most interesting to share about. We're doing a project for one company where we're actually doing some content writing.
Nice.
Some marketing content writing, and we've introduced practice into the training loop, because content writing requires different styles or tones or approaches depending on the product and the audience that you're selling to.
Absolutely.
So in this case, we did that same process. We kind of break things up into the different types of products and the different types of offerings and all the different things, and then the agents are designed to practice each of those things separately, and then we orchestrate them up into a team of agents that can perform a variety of content writing.
I love it. Yeah, because I wrote a piece of software that takes the ICP and the journey map, but then I want to be able to spin content to match secondary or tertiary ICPs.
Now we're talking. It's like that's really cool. We should actually work together, see if we can put something together sometime.
All right, I'd love that. I would be honored to work on a project with you. Let's see the learning. I think that is really the amazing nugget for me from our conversation, and I really appreciate you sharing your process with me and with the audience today. And best of luck with the book, and we'll have links to that in Amazon and to amesa.com in the show notes. And I know you're active on LinkedIn. Oh, that was the other question I wanted to ask you. Who do you follow for your AI influencers?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm going to be honest. I don't have particular influencers that I always look at. Some great ones out there. But it's more topics that I'm really interested in. I follow topics on orchestration. I follow topics on physical AI. I follow topics on reinforcement learning, a variety of kind of topics that I'm constantly looking for.
I love it. So yeah, that's another way to break it down into something that a problem that you're solving, and see how other people are doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Thanks a lot for the great questions.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate your experience and your expertise and your curiosity, most of all.
All right. Have a good one.
Okay. Thanks. Same to you. Well, what an amazing conversation and some great learning. And for me, taking away the idea that you're asking the agents to learn and produce some outputs to be able to understand the KPIs and how well they're executing, and then to learn on their own from those processes is really an amazing takeaway. So I hope that you got some value from listening to this and watching this today. I also hope that you take some time to deconstruct or decompose some of the processes in your business and learn how to train agents to do things either you don't like, that you're not good at, or that you need help with, and get some time back. And with that time, that you continue to upskill, that you spend that time with your friends and family, and that you get outside into nature, away from the screens. This is Emanuel Rose, Marketing in the Age of AI.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emanuel on LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.